Welcome to the Tour de France post-race report presented by Proform TDF, the official training bike of the Tour de France. Visit proform.com to see more.
Stage 5 of the Tour de France is now complete, but the damage has certainly been done. Alongside Christian Vande Velde and Bob Roll, I'm Todd Harris. A very chilly day here on the outskirts of the forest of Ehrenberg, and what a toll it was taken today, Bob. As the defending champion, Christian, he is down. Chris Froome is out of the Tour de France, and I don't want to say we didn't see this coming, but he'd already had an injury yesterday after the fall. Let's go back and look. It came early once again. Like yesterday when Froome went down on his left side, he comes out of the bus just about 15 minutes before the start of the race, and first thing we notice, guys, a heavily bandaged left wrist.
Brace on the wrist, that's not a good sign, especially when you're doing a stage across the cobblestones. That means that it's still been bothering him overnight, but this is where it all went wrong. There's a traffic furniture, this barricade, put up in between where the riders might be expected to ride and the middle of the street. You don't oftentimes see that, and Chris Froome went straight into that and then down hard all over again, this time on the right side of his body. And when it's cold and miserable like this, it's twice as hard to get started. The charmed life that Chris Froome has been leading for the last year is over, and welcome to the mean streets of the Tour de France.
It took a while to get a new bike for him, plus no teammates around him, Christian. By the time they got to him, they nursed him back up into the peloton, did not look exactly the same, and then disaster strikes again.
Yeah, they obviously had no idea that he had even crashed until the team cars had seen him. So by the time they sent the boys back to go get him, he was way back, and then he could barely follow the wheels of his teammates trying to chase him back. And then this crash that threw right on the other side again, obviously way too much to take. That was enough. Time to get in the car. Let's hope for next year. Go back to the drawing board and look to 2015.
See the dejection on his face, shaking his head, and unfortunately, Chris Froome, the defending champion of the Tour de France, is forced to abandon. During the racing action, guys, we heard Phil Liggett and Paul Sherwin talk about it, and Paul said he had to do this one time. And Christian, you know what it's like. It's not a pleasant thing for any rider, whether you're defending champion or in the very back of the field.
No, it doesn't matter who you are. You're taking your numbers off, going back while your compatriots are in the car or racing. It's horrible. And it's not just the pain of the crash or losing the race. It's all the work that you've done for the last 12 months. All the sacrifice that your family has made. That is the reason that you're so upset. It's not the pain. It's never the pain. It's always that sacrifice, and mostly a lot of times the sacrifice of your family and friends too.
Bob, how far back does this go? Do you think the crash of the Dauphiné, the big race leading into this, had something to do with this? Because 3-4 major crashes in less than a month for Chris Froome, that's something he's not used to.
Yeah, each time you hit the deck, a little bit is taken away. And when you compound that, before you've even recuperated from the previous crashes, you keep hitting the deck again and again and again. For Chris Froome, 4 hard crashes in a short period of time. Eventually, you have to cut your losses. Eventually, you just have to realize, this is not my year. Even carrying on would not do any good, would not help the situation. So I think dropping out was the only option for Chris Froome on today's stage.
So now all kinds of questions will be posed to Team Sky. Moments ago, our Steve Schlenger caught up with Chris Froome's teammate, Geraint Thomas.
What did you think when you first heard that Chris Froome had abandoned?
I didn't even know. I thought, I knew he crashed twice, heavy. It was always part of the plan to have Richie as protected just as much, because we didn't know how Froome would cope. That's really disappointing for him. I think worked all year for this, and then in 2 days a few crashes and it's all gone. But that's bike racing, and it's disappointing. But he'll be back next year and fighting for the win again.
You know these cobbles well, but just truly, how difficult was it today out there?
To be honest, I actually didn't think it was too bad in the end. I think it's all about positioning, and we were in front most of the time, and when that big split happened, Richie had just crashed, and so I sat up and I was going back 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and I was like, oh no, where is he? But eventually he was there, he was okay, and we managed to limit our losses in the end. We went full gas from 2 sectors out, and we managed to gap Contador and things as well. So good day for Richie, all in all.
Richie had a tough spring. Is he ready to take the lead of this team right now?
He better be. He is.
Thanks.
No, he'll be good. He's done some good tests, and he was a bit unfortunate early season injuries and all that sort of stuff. But now he's really good, and we're all going to get behind him, and try not to dwell on Froome missing out now.
Thanks, Garen.
Cheers.
And just like that, the defending champion Chris Froome gets into a car, and that mantle of authority now shifts to the shoulders of Richie Porte. And you heard Geraint Thomas say, he better be ready. Bob, is he capable and willing and ready to do this?
Well, physically, he's a very strong bike racer, good climber, great time trialist, but emotionally, leading a team into the Tour de France, especially Team Sky, that takes years of preparation. I would be very surprised if he's ready to carry on the mantle that's been handed over by Chris Froome by dropping out. If he can do that, that would be a real testament to his talent as a bike racer.
Christian, you know him very well. He's a great rider. He comes to us from down the Southern Hemisphere. Did they tell him in his ear right away, hey, Froome's abandoned, you're the guy?
No, I don't think they told him right away, but, this was – he just knows. You have to react. This is his team. He knows he's second in charge, so you just react. You need to make a good race. Geraint Thomas, he was the best. He was the savior of this team today. He waited for Richie Porte. 3 groups back, you heard him say that. And so, but Richie did a great job. He limited his losses, and he did a good ride today.
Well, you always remember your first, Lars Boom, his first Tour de France victory, and the first time a Dutch rider has won a stage of the Tour de France 9 years ago. Peter Weening did it on stage number 8. Lars Boom, Team Belkin gets the win. They've obviously hosed him off a little bit, Bob, because he was filthy as he got to the line, but there couldn't have been a bigger smile in the world than Lars Boom as he crossed the line.
Not far from Holland and the family visiting, and that's good luck for Lars Boom. They better bring the baby to all the races from now on.
Christian, you talked about the family and the sacrifice, and what is this moment, a moment like this when you have 2 daughters, when you could take your daughter to the stage to get the stage win?
These are the times that makes it all worth it. These are the times that you say, okay, it was worth the train on that day. It was worth, going to bed hungry. These are the days that make it all worth it.
Take a look at the stage results. Stage number 5, Lars Boom is your winner. Jakob Fuglsang second. And how about Vincenzo Nibali, wearing the yellow jersey, able to stay in there for third. Peter Sagan once again showing just how good a rider he is. He finishes in the top 5. There you see the rest of it. Michael Kwiatkowski. Louis Vestre had a strong ride as well. And Cyril Limon finishing in the top 10. We take a look at the GNC beat average. This is a tough one, Bob. You can give it to so many different guys, but Vincenzo Nibali in the yellow with his ride today.
An absolutely spectacular ride by Nibali. Avoiding this wipeout, his teammate goes down. Nibali's on the wheel. He's able to get around that. Restarts. Astana was spectacular on today's stage, and Nibali really rode well, honoring the yellow jersey. Never seen Vincenzo Nibali ride this well. You haven't seen him ride across the cobbles even very many times. Maybe he's a future specialist for the stones of the north. But Vincenzo Nibali, spectacular ride in defense of the yellow jersey. Not only did he defend that, he also extended it against his rivals Alberto Contador, and that's an incredible ride by Nibali.
That is your GNC beat average for the day. The man in the yellow jersey did a lot of great work today. Vincenzo Nibali of Italy and Team Astana. He stays in yellow at the end of stage number 5, guys, just showing us how solid an all-around cyclist he is. The Italian national champion prior to this Tour de France had not won a stage, and here he is 3 days in a row now in the yellow jersey. Team Astana, Christian, has to be so happy the way they were able to defend, because this was a very tricky day.
It was a tricky day. You wouldn't know it by seeing the results of Team Astana. They absolutely took the situation and made it an opportunity, and they destroyed their opponents today. Team Astana had 5 guys up there in the top. It was unbelievable what they did. It was a very impressive day.
So we'll take a look at the overall standings. It's still Vincenzo Nibali on top. 2 seconds over Jakob Fuglsang, who finished second today. Peter Sagan now sitting in third. Michael Kwiatkowski in fourth. And Fabian Cancellara, Spartacus, appearing in the top 5 of the chase for the yellow jersey. Jurgen van der Broek in 6th. Tony Gallopin with a fantastic ride today. Richie Porte, we may be hearing more of his name as he slides into 8th. American Andrew Talansky and Alejandro Valverde round out your top 10. Speaking of fabulous Fabian Cancellara. We're happy to have him join us fresh off the cobblestones. Fabian, first of all, great ride by you. Give the folks at home back in the States, what was that ride like today in the rain?
It was a tough one, I think. I know how cobbles are feeling, but the thing today was really with the weather and the rain, and was even more tough, I think, than in April. I mean, plus the whole day there was it was just full gas the whole day, and I was lucky that I never went down. I never had the moment where I really had to get out on from the pedals or so on, but still, I lost a big occasion. And chapeau to Astana, to Vincenzo and his whole team. They managed this day really well. I think, like we said, you have to ride in the front, but it's not always easy. I mean, we saw a lot of things probably. I mean, the people at home, you guys maybe saw a lot of things that I still don't know what really happened on the back. But day's over. The tour starts new now, because a lot of things are changed, and that's maybe what a lot of these riders now, they're losing this kind of tour like this want to have.
Tell us a little about what it takes to be a good rider. The experts that I know tell me that you are fantastic on the cobbles, you always have been, but they say the confidence is the biggest thing. You stayed in the front, but just to be able to ride the cobbles with confidence. Is that your assessment?
Yeah, of course, it's how it starts in the morning, how you actually go to the breakfast. I mean, you open the window and look out and say, oh, it's raining. There starts. The first negative thing you think is already energy you lose. I mean, my little confidence, maybe I get lost when I got told that they cut out two sectors, like two places where more than 2 kilometers of pavement was missing, and that's this sector will not change the race. The whole thing changed already the race. I mean, we know that there was a lot of crashes before actually we go into the cobbles, and then there was of course also on the cobbles some crashes, and I think it was almost the whole day ice skating, and who could survive was in the front, and there starts. But I think I tried to give the best out of that, and I think on the end I did not bad, but still, I mean, there was a few guys stronger, faster, or I don't know. We have to see at night or in the afternoon late now.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking, and a lot of these crashes happened actually before the cobblestones.
Yeah.
And was it something with the, riding these tires for the first time, having these big FMBs, and no one's really raced them in the rain too many times?
Yeah, I don't.
Or just people aren't experienced with these kind of wheels, or?
It's a good question. I mean, we saw a lot of roundabouts, traffic islands, and then the Belgium roads towards the French roads are a bit different. You have somehow you have holes, and also in the middle of the road you have a little little gap there, and then it was slippery, and of course you have different tire pressure. I mean, I had also the feeling towards to the end I'm losing actually air in my tires, but that's because it's also the feeling that I got. But on the end, I mean, I tried the tires yesterday already in the race. I tried the bike yesterday, full setup, to see a bit, to get this feeling. And of course, almost every rider, especially the GC guy, they did the ride before they go actually to England. They came, I think on Tuesday, Wednesday, they came here to train on the cobbles with all the bikes. And still, I mean, when I see the setup from Astana, the only little thing maybe was that they didn't have, I mean, 50. We ride 53, 44, 46, depends, but they've been riding with 53, 39. That's the little details what I have seen from Astana, that they're not experts on that, but still, you look how they managed, and look other teams, how they managed, and I think, it's a bit mixed, but of course, a lot of luck you need, but still, a stage like this has nothing to do in the Tour de France with these weather conditions, because now even Froome get out of the race before the cobbles. That has nothing to do with the cobbles, but still, when you see now the gaps and the damage that everyone gets, I mean, it's, I don't know.
We're going to show you some of the crashes that took place today. It was actually lost track of how many accidents took place on the road, and as Fabian pointed out, a lot of them taking place even before we hit the cobbles. What do you see here, Fabian? And take us through what it's like being out there at these speeds.
Yeah, the thing is that sometimes you brake, but then the problem is you brake maybe too strong, and then because of braking too strong, you slip away in the front, and that's also how you manage actually to braking. I mean, you have to be always a bit on the brake, but as long as you're not, I mean, this is the best example that I think there was really slippery, and as soon as you hit just a little bit of your brake too much, or as more you brake, as less water is in the rim and on the brake pads, and that's why also sometimes you brake, but nothing happened. But then after a few seconds, boom, it brakes fast, and then you go down. And that was the same on the cobbles. You have to really balance all your skills also in braking. And today I think that's why also with the weather and with the wet and the mud we had, was even harder to brake. And a lot of time out on the roundabouts was really a situation of, also maybe oil on the ground. And this was an example, too fast into the corner, and what do? You just go straight, and then you have no other chances than otherwise you go before on the ground.
Fabian, do you think that in the Northern Classics, in the roads that are very similar to these, there's a certain type of peloton, but in the Tour de France, different type of rider? Does that increase the nervousness in the field?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, today was the whole day was nervous. I mean, we had a lot of wind on the beginning, and then, I mean, when you see a team like Garmin, they had Andrew Talansky for the GC, but they had two other guys, Van Zummeren and the Dutch champion now, that they are normally specialists for that. But the problem is they had to take care of Talansky because they play Tour podium, and that's the team's okay. You guys taking care of our GC guy, and in our team was a bit the same. We had with Frank or with Heimart Zoveldi also GC guys, and somehow also a few guys had to take care of them to bring them to the back and or to the front, or taking care of them, because it was just a super strong performance from Astana. They, in my opinion, like I saw the other days, the strongest complete team here in the Tour. But like we see, it's still many kilometers to go. There's still some mountains to coming. We're gonna see in a few days in the Vogesen. We're gonna see really hard stages, and there, I mean, it's just gonna go from people maybe starts attack early to damage the team. I mean, what they have for chances, because you need to destroy, or you need to make them fatigue this Astana team, and then maybe have a chance. But like we see, they've been racing really strong, and they get more confident, and they know how it is when you have the yellow jersey, when you ride in the front, when you get victories, when you get this good feeling, you get just stronger and stronger and stronger. I mean, you, Christian, you know really well how does it feel, and that's also what we had in the team. We didn't know really what we're gonna go and doing here in the Tour, but we had a great start, and this gives already a good feeling, and everyone was, hey, now we go on, and then we give our best every day. We try what we can do, and that's how it has to go.
Fabian Cancellara hanging out with us for the Proform Horse Rate Report, and we caught up with Tejay van Garderen moments ago. Our Steve Schlanger spoke with him.
Here we go. Tejay, first of all, tell me what happened with your crash.
I mean, I crashed. I don't know what else to say.
What happened that caused you to go down? Was it just the wet road?
Yeah, it's a wet road. I mean, we're, with the cobbles, we're running lower pressure in the tires, so it just has a bit different feeling. And I don't know, my rear wheel just kind of got away from me.
Overall, just sum up how crazy of a day this was.
It was insane. I mean, I heard Froome's out of the Tour. I mean, you guys got your drama, but, that kind of takes the whole race down a notch when you have a big favorite who's now out. So in theory, it can make the race less exciting towards the end. So, I don't know. I think the ASO, they need to rethink putting days like this in the race.
You think this is a bad idea?
I don't know. I'll leave that up to the viewers.
How do you feel right now about your spot, still fighting for the overall now with what happened today?
Oh, I mean, could have been worse, could have been better. Just got to move forward.
Thanks, Tejay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So we'll look at the crash that TJ's talking about. Here it is, going in a roundabout. And again, guys, some of the bigger crashes, the most devastating ones, didn't take place on the cobbles. They took place on the wet streets. too much speed going into the corners, and Tejay van Garderen goes down. Had a good day up to this point, but as he told our Steve Schlanger, just got to look forward. It is what it is. So I throw the question out to you, two guys who rode in the Tour de France and a man who was in the Tour de France. Of course, Fabian Cancellara joining us here on the Proform Post-Race Report. Fabian, do you want to see more stages like this in the Tour de France, or do you think after today and the toll it took, they should do this again?
Yeah, I asked me a few times also, okay, they could cut out the mountains and then make me a favor, but the mountains are definitely something different because on the mountains you don't have this risk. You don't have to go in like today. And of course, we have seen a lot of crashes before the cobbles. And that's why now the organization says, okay, the crashes was a lot before and not on the cobbles. I mean, they get good out now maybe, but I think it's the whole stage we have to see, the whole overview, because this is what makes the whole day nervous. You starting and you finishing, and not where just you go over it. And that's why we are used to ride on wet roads. We are used like the other days how tricky it was on the parcours. But I think this sorts of type of race, because you have to change the bike, you have to change your tires, you have to change almost the whole setup on your bike, and that's a change. It's not just you go on your TT bike, you do a 54 kilometers time trial. I don't know. Maybe next year they do a 120k team time trial, and then I don't know. We do a mountain team time trial. I don't know. I mean, we have to change cycling. I think that's a thing we know. But not in this direction to have this grand spectacle like now maybe they have, I don't know. The viewers at home, they had maybe a nice drama race today where you didn't know what really going to happen, but to see riders just slithering out on the road, it's not nice. I mean, also for us, I mean, we see a lot of riders, they banned it, they had to go to the race doctor and stuff like that, and that's why I think we are used to ride up to the mountains, down to the mountains, but things like this, I think, no, that has no space in cycling, because you lost, I mean, the race is now, of course, new open, but still somehow you lost one of the biggest contenders, not just of the cobbles, it's just a general thing.
Right.
Because when today was just a flat stage with raining, then maybe Chris Froome could survive. And I don't want to say this is part of the game or part of our job. I think somewhere are limits. We saw the limits in the Giro, what happened. Today was again somewhere the limit, and I hope in the future we're going to see better things than things like today.
Christian, you're 1 year removed from being in the Tour de France. Is this progress or is this too much?
Well, Fabian, you know that if I never saw another Fabian, if I never saw another Fabian again, if I never saw another cobblestone again, that'd be just fine with me. So personally speaking, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that again. But, I like to see cobblestone, like I said before, I'd like to see a good overall all-rounded rider winning the Tour de France like Vincenzo Nibali is doing right now. But at the same time, when it's wet like that, it's a completely different situation. It's a different conversation, and then that gets just rude. In most of these, and just the stress goes through the roof. People there's way too many people who hit the tarmac today, way too many people who have bandages on, and having Chris Froome be at home, those kind of things, it takes a lot away from the Tour de France.
What do you think? I'm not saying you're old school. You're more than 1 year removed from the Tour de France, but you've ridden the cobbles many a time, and I know you like watching it. It's fun and exciting, but is this just too much in the name of progress?
Well, in 2010, they had a cobbled stage. It wasn't quite as dramatic as today. That's because of one thing, the rain.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't raining, which nobody can plan on,
exactly.
If it wasn't raining, you have a really exciting stage. The gaps would have been a lot smaller. You wouldn't have had such a huge gap. You can't plan on the weather, and a lot of the crashes were before the cobbles. So if they're before the cobbles and they race from Belgium into France during the Tour, that happens quite often. They do that a lot, and it's sad for the Tour. But you want to crown an all-around great athlete, and Vincenzo Nibali, he took the opportunity, and so we'll let the chips fall where they may.
One thing we do know is the defending champion, Chris Froome, is out of the 2014 Tour de France. We will have a new champion as we look at it one more time. The day started again before they got to the cobbles. That bale put in front of that big pylon, and Froome clips it. He goes down this time on his right side.
Fabian, I wanted to ask you, this is like road construction and not normally a part of going around some traffic furniture. Did you see that section of the road just then when you were racing?
I mean, I saw, I don't say I was complaining already in Tour de Suisse in Switzerland, but there we know that there are a lot of traffic islands and all sorts of things on the road, but it's just sad. I mean, we risk our lives sometimes, and things like this. Or be safe or not. I mean, we saw a lot of things on the road, but we knew also we had we had an intense meeting about all the things we're gonna see during the race. That's why we have a race radio. That's why it's important to have a race radio, that we can tell you guys the next 10K you are in a city. There's a lot of traffic islands, there's a lot of roundabouts, and this infos they have everyone. But like today was just fighting, and yeah.
And this is what we did not want to see. Chris Froome arriving back at his hotel, unable to finish today. He has been forced to abandon the Tour de France as the reigning champion. So the protocol for Chris Froome will obviously be checked out, the way he's walking very gingerly. Fabian, the question to you now is, how is the race different without the defending champion and a rider as strong as Chris Froome?
Yeah, somehow it's changed, somehow not. I mean, it goes on. I mean, we know that Vincenzo is the rider with the most skills, uphill, downhill, pavé now, whatever it comes. And I think now with Alberto, they have to try. I think with Talansky, with every rider that is now in top 20, I mean, you can also go far somehow, but like I said, the tour is still long. Mm-hmm. We didn't hit the mountains yet, and when we see a little bit the overview of the mountains, I mean, the last week is really, really tough, and there's many things can happen. 3 weeks is from day to day. You have to look and to take care of all the little details, and you have to, I don't say you have to pray or to cross fingers that something happened to Astana, that he got a hunger flat or he crashed out. I mean, this is not sort of things you want to see, right? But you have to calculate and to balance all little details that this could happen, because I mean, I did also many tours now, and we also, when we had riders for winning the tour, also we did our best to get the best out of the situations, and it's just, you have to fight until Paris, because in Paris is finish, is not finish today and not tomorrow.
Well, a tip of a chapeau to you, my friend, for sticking around and helping us break this down. We wish you the best of luck on the rest of your tour.
Thank you.
We'll have much more on the Tour de France. Stage 5 goes in the books. More analysis when we return, but it's Lars Boom who reigns supreme after the cobbles. We'll have much more of this as Vincenzo Nibali still is in yellow.